Decades before the events of Iron Lung, a catastrophic event known as the Quiet Rapture occurred. Every known star and habitable planet in the universe mysteriously vanished. Only those humans who were on space stations and starships at the time survived. With the disappearance of planets and stars, the infrastructure sustaining humanity collapsed, and the survivors were forced into a desperate search for any resources. Over time, humanity became scattered, drifting through empty space aboard derelict ships and abandoned stations. Amid this decay, strange anomalies began appearing. Barren moons containing vast blood oceans. These oceans, literally pools of human blood, offered a gruesome hope. Perhaps they contained some salvageable resource, or some clue towards reversing the Rapture's effects. Humanity's leaders, an organization known as Consolidation of Iron, declared expeditions to investigate these blood moons, but resources and manpower were limited. Rather than risk valuable crew, COI began sending convicts, prisoners given a chance at redemption, or so it seemed. You, the player, are one of those convicts. Your craft is a small decrepit submarine, officially designated SM-13, but also known among the survivors as the Iron Lung. It's a patched-up vessel cobbled together from scraps, not meant for comfort or safety, but for one thing: descent into the blood ocean's deadly depths. Once you submerge, the hatch is welded shut. The forward viewpoint is sealed. The pressure at depth is too dangerous for glass. From that moment, you are blind, cut off from the outside world. There's no window, no way out, and no support. You'll navigate using a minimalist interface, a map with rough coordinates, a proximity sensor, and an external camera that produces only grainy black and white photos. Your mission is simple: visit several marked points of interest in the trenches beneath the blood ocean, photograph them, and return to the surface. In exchange, your promise of freedom. But the truth, known silently among some of the survivors, is darker. The convicts who go down rarely return. The expeditions may actually be death sentences, yet you have no real choice. As the Iron Lung sinks, inside the oxygen meter ticks down. There's nothing but you and the unknown. Slowly, you navigate the underwater trenches, narrow, winding tunnels that twist through the blood seafloor. You match coordinates on the map, check the proximity sensor, and occasionally snap a photograph through the camera to see what lies ahead. Your photographs reveal bizarre and unsettling features. Strange rock formations, unnatural structures resembling buildings. Ruins that suggest this moon was not always lifeless. Maybe it once supported some form of life, or some other civilization. Maybe the blood ocean and its horrors are the remnants of something far more ancient and horrific than humanity. At times, proximity sensors hint at movement, faint readings as if something large lurks just beyond the hull. You take more photographs, nothing but blackness and emptiness. Yet the dread builds. You pass skeleton remains of a giant sea creature, bones tangled in the trenches, suggesting that this ocean once hosted life. The realization hits: if creatures once lived here, maybe some still do, and they may not be forgiving of intruders. All the while, the sub groans under pressure. The longer you stay, the more you risk the sub failing completely. The brilliance of Iron Lung isn't in constant jump scares. With no visuals except the grainy photos, no escape and no support, the fear comes from uncertainty. Each time you surface a photograph, there's tension. The unknown, what lurks in the black expanse just beyond the camera's frame, becomes overwhelming. Every hiss of the pipes becomes a threat. As you approach the final points of interest, the sub begins to fail, and a fire starts. Your hope for survival and redemption starts to feel like a cruel joke. The blood ocean isn't just a resource, it's a trap, a tomb, and you realize the real mission was never exploration, it was an execution. At a critical depth, you manage to snap one last photograph. On the image, a large eye staring directly into the camera. Moments later, the creature attacks. The Iron Lung, your metal coffin, is breached. The mission ends. There is no return, no redemption, and no photos, or even proof you ever existed. A final text after the credits reveal what has always been true. There is no way to recover the remains or images. Your journey and your existence have vanished, as thoroughly as the stars themselves. The ocean claims you and humanity moves on. What makes Einlang powerful isn't just the horror of giant monsters. It's the horror of insignificance. You are nothing, a convict and a pawn. You're sent into the depths you don't understand. You rely on broken equipment. You could die and no one could ever notice. And even if somehow you survive, what would it change? Humanity is adrift, empty and desperate. The blood oceans, the skeletons and the ruins, but from the emptiness, a universe without stars, without planets, and without hope. A human race reduced to scavenging blood oceans and forsaking dignity for survival. The story the game gives us is hauntingly bare. It drops fragments of lore, the Quiet Rapture, the blood oceans and the ruins, but never explains everything. We never learn why the stars vanished, how the blood oceans formed, who built the structures under the ocean floor, or what kind of creatures lurk in the depths. Everything is left ambiguous and open to interpretation. This lack of closure is part of the horror. It suggests that meaning is lost forever, that no amount of photos or exploration will recover what was lost. And maybe that's the most terrifying thing of all. Some horrors, some voids cannot be filled, cannot be understood, and cannot be escaped. In the end, you are a convict. You tell a story of isolation, not just physical but cosmic. You are the listener. What could you do if everything you knew vanished? If the stars themselves died? The Einlang submarine, it's a metaphor for confinement, for despair and inevitability.